Good morning, everybody. My name is Dairuka Sutane, and I will be showing you how it is actually possible to play as Ladakh and to survive as Ladakh. Now, I know for a very long time people have actually believed this to be an impossible start. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is not 100% impossible. It's more like 50% impossible. And why do I say it's around 50% impossible? It's because it's very, very RNG heavy. Attack mode that I'm about to show you won't always work. Defense mode that I'm about to show you won't always work. So it actually functions at around 50%. Now everybody's going to tell you that tactful is absolutely necessary, but I've run it through a couple times. It is very helpful to have tactful, but what is most necessary is that you have a very good defensive general. You can actually stack a bunch of different defensive bonuses together to give you effectively the same outcome as tactful. So that would work just as well. It all depends on your RNG. Now I'm going to show you up front standard, and aggressive pop consolidation. This does not make a difference. Please don't get angry at me for having that. I do that for the fact that my computer doesn't blow up when I have this on. So standard, apply, so that you know that it is 100% legit. In fact, I'm going to do a solid here. No mods, okay? So you know I'm on the up and up. So we're going to start that game again. It's going to have to take a moment to load up. My computer is relatively quick, but not that quick. Especially since I've been running for about an hour already, doing a bunch of retests. So, let's click on Ladakh. Let's showcase standard, good. And start. Now, here is the catch, guys. As we've stated before, you don't absolutely have to have a tactful commander. But you do have to have a defensive commander. It is absolutely imperative that you have a very good defensive commander. And you're not going to believe this, but my first try here is a tactful commander with Woodland Combat Expert. I don't think it's going to help here. I think this is actually mountainous and flat. But, I mean, it's nice to have the tactful right away. You might not believe me on this, but this was random for me. So I hope you don't think that I'm actually cheesing here. But, yeah, I got a tactful guy right away. If you don't get a tactful guy right away, you just happen to have, like, a really strong defensive guy with, like, a 20%, 30% defensive bonus. Believe me when I say this, that alone will probably be enough. Maybe later on in the video, I will showcase you that it is possible to do with a commander like that. Just, it's less likely to happen. With a tactful guy, I'd say this might work 50% of the time. With a fully defensive kitted guy, it'll work 30% of the time. But it is still possible. Now, before we actually go through with unpausing and me showcasing to you the entirety of the guide, you have to build up the bonuses. You need every single bonus that you can get, which means you got to go into politics, go into government, reform the government, and get the church and the armed forces in there. But that's still not enough. So what is a good way to do it? Go to your laws, click on peasant levies, and click on professional army. Just by doing that, you get a plus 20 approval on armed forces, which is very, very good. Now, we're going to get a 10% defensive bonus. Now, you can actually make these guys powerful with their clout by hiring a bunch of armed forces leaders and boosting them up with as much bureaucracy as you can to, like, level 5. And just by doing that, you can actually make these guys powerful and get a 20% bonus. And if you're having a really, really hard time doing that, this guy, yeah, he actually is. Okay. If you're having a really, really hard time getting this guide to work, believe me, that extra 10% does make a difference. Every little bonus that you get makes a difference. In fact, I'm going to showcase to you guys right now, you want to have very high military wages. There is a strong likelihood that your defensive guys might have to fight 2 battles for this to work. And you want them to actually survive in the second battle. If they can't survive in the second battle and they just collapse in the second battle, you lose. It's that simple. If they collapse in the first battle, you lose. They need to hold the line. We need these guys to be as beefy as possible and to survive as long as possible for this guy to work. If it doesn't, you lose, and you're restarting and you're trying it again. And like I said, 50% success rate. This is the best I could find. I've tried 100 different ways. This is the best I could find. Now, make sure you get your conscript set up before you do anything. If you don't, you lose a couple days, and believe me, you actually want all the conscripts you can get your hand on. Even if they show up at the end of the battle, as long as they can give you a couple extra days, that's imperative. Another thing that you're probably going to want to do is do your basic setup. My suggestion is not doing construction. You can't really afford construction sectors as Ladakh in the early game. I know it looks like we have a good amount of money, but believe me, you don't. It turns into a massive negative, and you actually screw your start if you try to build construction right away. So my suggestion is to do luxury first. So go for logging camps, go for tooling workshops so you can make use of your logging camps later down the line, and then furniture and textile. That alone will last you at least a couple years until you get your bearings after the fact. And you're probably going to want to attack Chitral for their portion of Kashmir. You won't be able to access the rest of Chitral though, because they're actually in a different declaration interest. So my suggestion for your first technology is to pick colonization. Colonization will take you 35 months. Believe me, it's not as bad as like the African countries like Bagirmi or something. This is not too bad. You won't have to wait for the prestige bonus from like tenant farmers or professional army. The playwright bonus. Personally, I don't like putting that into my guides because it's way too RNG heavy, and a lot of people will have to save scum a great deal just to make that work. So instead, I'm just going to tell you, go straight for colonization. It's only 35 months, it's 3 years, not that bad of a deal. And once you're done with that, you can start conquering into like Kunduz, which is a good way to go because Kunduz, believe it or not, in southern Turkestan is connected to Chitrali, Kashmir. And that is how you actually get into Afghanistan and Pakistan and then Persia. So if you go through Chitral, for instance, you're going to get blocked off by Kafiristan because they are impassable. Now, back to the actual guide without having any more tangents at this point. This is where things get a little sticky. This is where it's a 50%, okay? You have to do something very, very specific. I've tested this quite a lot, believe me. People who are watching the How It's Made video, they know exactly what I went through here, okay? So, I'm not going to show you guys because that would make the video very long drawn and very boring, but you have to get the defensive active battle within 22 to 25% when you unpause. And you have to pause when it's at that point, because that gives you the best amount of time for your attackers to get in. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So we're going to unpause here, and we're going to wait until the active battle on the defensive side, that's their side by the way, is at 22 to 25%. Okay. Let's slow it down a touch. Oh, there we go, 22.9. That is hopefully perfect for us. I really hope it's perfect for us. I really don't want to redo this again, but here we go. This is what you have to do. Oh, I forgot to tell you. After it hits 22%, click on your unit, click on transfer military units to another army, and break these guys up into 4 armies. You need every one of them. If you do not have every one of them, you are going to run into trouble. And then you're going to want to pick the ones that have pretty much the best offensive bonuses that you can get. These guys all kind of suck, but whatever. Just take them. If you can get one with a good offensive bonus, do it. If you can't, make do. Hopefully you can, but you won't always get the opportunity. I hope that this works. Generally, the offensive bonus does make a difference, but in this case, I've had instances where it doesn't make a difference. So, another thing that I would suggest is to actually speed things up. I find that the AI has a harder time maintaining their battles when it goes really, really quickly. So, the faster your computer goes, I think the better that this will actually work. Now, here comes the hard part. Relying on RNG. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I might have to redo this. But we're going to unpause here. We're going to let this run to 100, and we hope that this hits 100 before the attack hits 100. generally, about 95% of the time, this will hit 100 beforehand. Here we go. Unpausing. Boom. And, oh, no, we have lost this one. Have we? Nope, we won this one. Just like that. It's that quick. It's that instance. That was wild, actually. But, like you can see right here, we won. Ladakh is free. We now have a truce with Kalsaraj for 5 years, and they will not attack you until that 5 years is up, which means you gotta be quick. Get your butt out there and attack everything that you can. Break these units back down into a single unit, and go directly for Chitral. You see, Chitral has no friends. They're hated even more than you are, believe it or not. So go after Chitral and take their Kashmiri region immediately. You might have to go put everybody in defensive mode. Unfortunate, but true. We got a lot of delaying tactics. Wow, okay, I actually like delaying tactics. It's pretty good. You get a lot of camouflage, a lot of surprise maneuvers. So that's a good one. That's a good one. So now we're going to move in. We're going to take Chitral, get our conscripts up, because we need every person we can get our hands on. And then we're just going to effectively wait here. And the reason why is because they're going to take 8% attrition, and we're only going to take 4% attrition. So they are taking more losses than we are, and we haven't even fought a single battle yet. And yeah, we're doing okay here. Oh, and we got our law debate done. Oh, we got an agitator. Very nice. That's always good. We're just going to wait until the very end. We can't really take anything else from them. I guess we could take money from them if we really wanted to. Maybe it's a good idea. Is it worth the 4 infamy? You know what? I'd say it is. Let's do it. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of money. It might even get them to back down. You never know. If they back down, that saves you a lot of troops overall. So, I mean, give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen in that case? Now we better move our troops in. And again, it looks like we're losing. But thankfully, we are all defensive moded. And look at that defense. Oh my goodness. They have no shot. And we went from 4 to 37. And we could swap our guys over. Which ones are better attackers? They all suck. So I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess we'll put the cruel guy as our #1 attacker here. And then everybody else can just be defensive mode. And yeah, there we go. Chitral is pretty much hooped. I guess we could just leave the cruel guy in, because he's doing a lot of damage to their troops. So yeah, it keeps them from reorganizing after the fact. So very nice, very nice. Take a little bonus here. Do I want to take the hit to the authority? I guess I should probably set my decrees now that I know that we actually survived. Maybe you guys should do that before you actually unpause. Oops, maybe I should have included that, but you know what? I'm not redoing this. So you guys will just have to do that yourself. But I mean, you can always better on the guide that I've got set up here. But look at that. Now look at Ladakh. Look at what I've created here. We're not even done a full year in yet. And we have a bunch of money saved up in our gold reserve. And I still wouldn't suggest making a construction sector just yet, but there you go. Ladakh is viable now. It's very, very possible. I'm pretty happy with this guy, but here's the thing. I want to showcase to you that it is possible to do without a tactful commander. So we're going to go back on an older version, one that I've already done before, one that I know works pretty much every time, I would say around 70% of the time, and it's done without a tactful commander. Okay? Okay. Alright, now that you've seen that the general, in fact, does not have tactful, we're going to redo this. Oh, whoops, I forgot to set my conscripts. And make sure to turn them on, people. Every day really does count. Every bonus counts. You want to make sure that you get as much as you can. Look here, we already got our bonus. We already got professional levies going. Perfect, perfect. We got all of our bonuses up. Again, the more bonuses, the better. This guy has a ridiculous amount of bonuses. I actually think he might be better than the tactful guy, but I mean, it depends on if this counts as mountain or not. I think this does count as mountain, and this might, but this might not. I actually don't know if it counts as mountain, and I don't really give enough a crap to actually check right now. So, we're going to unpause, and we're going to make sure that it hits around 22% like we did last time. So please, please, 22%. Yay, 22%.9. I think that's the magic number. So now we're going to split it up. Blip. And split. And split. And now we're going to hire our best attackers. That guy looks really good, actually. I would like him in a normal game. This guy, too. Direct. I love direct. And ambitious is okay. Hey, offense is offense. So I got 3 great attackers on this save. That's kind of crazy. And again, we're going to speed things up. And the reason why we speed things up is because I really do believe that it makes a difference. It makes the AI a little more wonky when it comes to the attack placement. So, whew, here we go. It's going to happen quick. So pay attention. We won once. We won twice. That's it. The war goals were enforced on Jammu, and just like that, you saw that it is 100% possible without a tactful commander. You just need a really, 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 really good defender. Like, this guy is actually amazing. I would like him in my normal games. Damn, like 10% here. 5%, that's 15% off of this one guy. That's pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty good. And not to mention all these attacker guys. Like 10% here. Is that 10%? That's 5%. I think that's 15% on home, and I think this counts as home turf. 10% here, 5% here. That's wild. That's pretty good RNG. But there you go. You now know that it is 100% perfectly possible to survive as Ladakh. Make use of this information as you will. I would love to see more guides on there that improve upon this theory. Maybe people can actually, maybe people like my boy Data Time Lapses could actually perfect this. Like, this is just me spitballing here. I don't have spreadsheets. I don't have that mathematical knowledge. I would love to see better, but this is the best I can offer you. All I can offer is far out ideas. My mind just does not work normally, so I just come up with some wacky stuff, and somehow, some way, it turned into this, and I'm very happy it did. It seems to be working quite well here. Hopefully, you guys can enjoy it, and maybe we'll get to see more guides on Ladakh in the future, because I think this is the very first Ladakh guide ever made. I don't think there is anyone, even a written one. I don't think they exist. Everybody just kind of said, oh, well, Ladakh is a foregone conclusion. It's impossible. Well, in 1.9, they changed it. The organization is 100%, so Ladakh is now possible. This would not have been possible if it was 25% organization like it was in earlier patches. But now in 1.9, it's possible. So, thankfully, it's possible. Even though you still have to cheese. Now, this is cheese. Make no mistake, if you do this in a multiplayer game, you might actually get banned. So don't do something like this in a multiplayer game. Do it only in a single player game. Be fair. Don't be rude. Don't be mean. But yeah, that's how you can survive as Ladakh. If anybody else has any other ideas, anybody else has any other ways of doing this, let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to try to recreate it. Seriously. I would love to hear from you guys. I really would. Anyhow, that's going to be it for this guide. I'm sorry it's so unscripted, but that's just the nature of guides like this. They're always going to be unscripted, because if you try to script them, it comes off very forced, very unreal, like robotic almost, and most people don't seem to enjoy those. So, thank you again for watching this far through. You guys truly are kings, and I do appreciate you. Hail Hydra Cat.